Hello, welcome. Those who have not been here before, and welcome back for those who have. Start off like I always do. Disclaimer, I'm no lawyer, I'm no doctor, no financial advisor. If you're looking for advice, you won't find it here, so just shrug off. So today I thought I'd talk about phobias. Oh man, we hear a lot about phobias. Apparently everybody is either gay or homophobic, unless you vote a certain way, or you're transphobic, or vote a certain way. Give that like a second. But generally speaking, I mean, they really throw that around. You know, you say, well, I don't feel it's right to give kids puberty blockers because, well, it shrinks the pickle and it ruins the box for future use. That makes you transphobic. And generally speaking, the homophobic thing is just thrown out there just randomly anyhow. And for the most part, nobody cares. It's not that anybody's phobic this or phobic that. Nobody cares. And even for those obese people who are pointing out that everybody who's not obese is fat phobic. I remember the first time I heard that, it was like, 3-4 years ago on like a PBS thing. There was some fat chick going on there starting a campaign about fat phobia. And it hasn't really caught on, but it's caught on a little bit. Enough that, you hear it every once in a while. But generally speaking, you hear that phobia thing thrown out a lot. Well, what is a phobia? Simple definition. Could either be an irrational or an extreme fear of something. Now, there's tons of documented phobias. Everybody, of course, knows about the spiders. If somebody who's arachnophobic knows that there's a spider in a room, they're not going to be in that room. If they see that spider, they're going to freak out and get out of that room, man, all at once. I remember watching Maury Povich back as a younger man, and they had some lady on there who was afraid of clowns. So they thought it would be fun to sit down, talk with her, and all of a sudden have a clown sneak up on her. Dude, so it was the first time I ever seen it. But the lady lost it. Totally calm, unglued, running over top of furniture, knocking people over. That lady was truly phobic. Her fear was irrational. That clown was not there to hurt her. Generally speaking, that's what a phobia is. I mean, we all have our phobias, in some small way for most people. It's not usually an extreme thing. For me, I had the issue with spiders when I was younger. As a young adult, not too many moons ago, I was repiping mobile homes and crawled in one. Now, mobile homes are low to the ground. Usually they're closed in around the side with some sort of skirting. Yes, even here in the South. And if you have horses, which this place we had worked at was a horse farm with multiple trailers at that. If you have horses, you have spiders because you have flies, and flies bring spiders, yada, yada, yada. You remember the tale about the lady swallowing a spider. Okay, so anyhow, go in, and I've got a toolbox set up so that when I'm in there, I can put my head on something and be relatively comfortable and have all my goods with me to do my job. Generally, it goes behind my head, and I look up. That's where my job is at. But to get there, you belly crawl. It's you and a flashlight. I'm crawling. I got the flashlight. I'm scanning the ground, look for snakes or any other critters might be in there, and scoot, slide, get about 20 feet in. it's pitch black except for that opening 20 feet away that's only about 2 feet by a foot and a half. But it's far enough away that it's very dark where I'm at. I roll over, I flip the light up to the panel that's above me. It's covered in spiders. I don't mean a dozen, I don't mean 20, 30. Let these bikes go by real quick. Those young. And we're talking hundreds of spiders. When I look down, all the panels have them. This place literally just covered in spiders. They're not on the ground. They're all up on those panels. The gravity and me being not far away from them, you know, generally speaking, foot and a half, 2 feet away at best. I would lose it. I absolutely lose it. I start screaming for my coworker. He's up top. He comes running down. I'm like, oh, don't run, don't run, don't run. And when he gets there, I'm like, look, you need to let me out of here. I've got spiders everywhere. And he's like, crawl out. I'm like, I'm not asking you. You're going to open up this panel on the side or I'm going to kick the damn thing down. I was not even half kidding. I was not going anywhere but straight to the side. He pulls the panels off the side so that I can get out, which is some deconstruction. And mind you, I'm laying there frozen the whole time till I see that daylight. Man, when that came out, I squirmed out of there so fast and I rolled back and forth like I was on fire, just back and forth continuously. I explained to him what was going on. You know, he wasn't happy, yada, yada, yada. He tells me, well, you know, if you're not going to do your job, sit in the truck. And I'm like, fine, because I ain't going back underneath there. He goes underneath there. And all of a sudden I hear slam, bam, and it sounds like he's ripping the place to shreds. Poked my head back over by that hole. I'm like, hey man, you alright under there? And he's like, oh my God, I've never seen so many spiders. He wasn't as afraid. He finished the job, yada yada. But generally speaking, I mean, that was as much of a phobic event as I've ever had in my life, and it was pretty extreme. But you hear it a lot. Like, remember when Trump was kicking the you can call them transgender, you can call them cross-dressers, call them transvestites, I don't know. All right, Ben Franklin used to call them ladyboys. It's in his somewhat autobiography that when he was in France, he was entertained by the ladyboys. How entertained, I don't know. I didn't go into those kind of details. But nonetheless, he found them entertaining. So ladyboys it is. So he was kicking the ladyboys out. I was working with a lady who, lesbian, gay, lesbian, I don't know, that whole thing gets a little confusing. But anyhow, preferred to play on the same team. Didn't like the opposition. So I take and I you know, state the fact that, you know, it's dysmorphia. It's transmorphia, I guess, is what they're calling it, or transdysmorphia, or whatever. Once again, I'm no doctor, but it's a medical ailment. Okay, a mental health medical ailment, not a medical ailment. So anyhow, they've got this ailment, this issue, whatever you want to call it. And I turn to her and I'm like, look, it's a mental health issue. And she goes, oh, well, I guess you think being gay is a mental health issue. I laughed right in her face. Looked her straight in the eye and I said, nobody cares who you sleep with. Now I put it in a more colorful language, with a little bit harsher tone. But I made my point real quick. You know, we ain't playing that game of whatever. But honestly, I mean, if you disagree with them on policies, you disagree with the fact of having books in school that portray kids doing things kids shouldn't be doing with people who aren't kids, books that explain how to hook up on the internet at a very young age, all kinds of things that have nothing to do with education, all has to do with ideology. But if you disagree with the ideology, if you feel that having the kids learn that stuff is a bad thing, well, you're a phobic. And the truth is that no, no. And honestly, most people have worked with gay people. A number of people who work with lady boys. And honestly, the men who used to be ladies. So I don't know how you title those, but nonetheless, you don't hear much about them anyhow. It's all about the men who live as women. Nobody cares about the women who live as men. What's with that? But still, it's not a phobia. We're not afraid. Okay? You're not seeing anybody run out of the room because there's a transvestite in it. Alright? You've seen people overreact to something that wasn't really that scary. That's a phobia. You're not seeing that. You're not seeing it with gay, but you disagree with them. That's a tag you get. Nobody is willing to stand up and go, damn sure ain't afraid of you, princess. Please, somebody, step up, speak up. I ain't afraid of you. Now the fat people, okay, maybe I'm afraid they're gonna eat me. Nah, I know that's mean, but really that's about all you have to worry about. Not like I'm afraid they're gonna outrun me or something. I know that's terrible. I'm just afraid if my hand gets too close during a meal, it might disappear. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Yep. But no, seriously, we're being painted as phobic when there's no phobias going on. This isn't phobia. This is just an ideology bashing, belittling, besmirching, degrading, denigrating, putting down people who disagree with them. That's all. They just disagree with them. Alright? They're not scared of a damn thing. But because they disagree, they're phobic. Please, I would love to see Matt Gaetz went up there one time during the whole Congress thing. Whenever somebody goes, "Are you homophobic?" I will sit right next to you. And what I'm seeing, what? I'll prove I ain't homophobic. I'll even hold your hand, princess, if it make you happy. Yeah, I would love to see a politician do that. To show, no, there's no phobia. Oh, I'm standing right next to this person. I'm not scared at all. Would love to see something like that. So, I hope I made my point. Generally speaking, this phobia thing is stupid and we need to combat it. I kind of like using the humor thing, but we need to combat it. We need to combat it with just wait, no, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Just no. Oh, you're homophobic. Yeah. Come on over, we'll have coffee, hang out. I ain't got no problem. I like to dress up like a girl, that's all fine. But at the same time, we're going to get the title no matter what. So, let's see if we can beat it back with a little bit of humor, a little bit of toughness, a little bit of no, because if I was afraid of you, I probably would have stomped you down already. I don't know how that would play. But generally speaking, that does happen. If somebody's afraid, they'll jump up and attack whatever they're afraid of. So generally, really, this whole phobia thing, we need to combat it. Hopefully we can. Me, I'll be trying at every corner. So, and then every conversation that it comes up, I'll be putting on a good fight. Chuckling on the inside as I go. But anyhow, so that's my point. Let's stop with all this phobia nonsense and get on with the real conversations. Speaking of conversations, still waiting on that one guest I had hoped would be my first because his topic is such a great one. In the meantime, I spoke with another person the other day who might be inclined. I want to see about getting him over here. He's got a pretty good topic. But the idea is to have people sitting on that side of the table and us talking about the world and what makes sense in it or doesn't make sense in it. So I guess it's time to wrap it up. So I just want to say, as always, thank you for your time. It's the most valuable thing that we all have. And well, with that, catch you guys later. Thank you. All right.